creation, and production that needs several materials to produce an assembled product. The company accommodates the production order in two ways, make to order and make to stock. Problem identification. Therefore, it's common for the existence of uncurtained demand due to production system, which can be prevented and exacerbated by the procurement system of material in the company based on past experience. As a result, there is a mismatch between the need quantity of demand and the quantity of raw materials ordered. Because of the large quantity of items that must be kept, the mismatch raises the total cost of procurement. The research objective: the company need to determine the proper quantity of safety stock to prevent the sudden demand and the material requirement planning analysis by considering the most optimal cost of procurement.
Literature review consists of forecasting, lot sizing, safety stock, material requirement planning, and master production schedule and bill of materials. Forecasts are a method for estimating future demand or material requirements. Long-term planning is based on forecasts, which also help to create a timeable that is more effective and efficient agenda. Forecasting method consists of simple moving average, weight moving average, that has to be ordered, and the delivery schedule are crucial considerations since they will have an impact on the cost expenditure. Lot sizing method consists of economic order quantity, lot for lot, period order quantity, list total cost, silver mill, list unit cost, and Wagner with theme algorithm. Safety stock is an additional product that is kept in the warehouse to minimize out-of-stock problem caused by fluctuating demand, so the appropriate safety stock will allow business operations to run smoothly. Master requirement planning is a way of planning and regulating the amount and timing of demand item in order to meet the demand of the master production schedule while maintaining optimal costs. And the following input are required for planning calculation consists of master production schedule, bill of material, cost of procurement orders, and requirements. Master production schedule is a method of production planning that entails determining the amount and time required for a final product to be ready by the timeable that must be followed. And the master production schedule is developed by defining an appropriate production and product ordering schedule for customers based on project outcomes. The input requires total demand data, production plans, planning data, roof cut capacity planning information, and the inventory status. Bill of material is a list of all materials, components, and subassemblies, as well as the quantity required to create a single unit of product. It may also be used to calculate the cost of a product. For the first step, start with the determine the research topic with choosing the plastic jar company. After that, continue with the problem identification such as absent demand caused by the production system, and there's no optimization in the procurement system because the company orders the raw material based on past experience. And after that, the researchers use a variety of methods to complete their research. Afterward is the forecasting calculation. It is used to forecast for the next 12 months of the product order request. And the next step is to create a bill of material that consists a list of all components, material, as well as the quantity of required raw materials. And after that, determine raw material needed based on product demand forecasting result. Next is the safety stock calculations. The amount of safety stock that has been calculated will be implemented on material requirement planning calculations. Unit in 1 month with G table 19%. And then next is the lot sizing calculation. It is the best method that have the lowest cost of procurement, include delivery and holding costs. And last is the material requirement planning, and the data of material requirement planning is based on the master production schedule.
So now we enter the phase of data collection. There are several data that are needed to conduct this research. The first one is product order request data. This data is needed for the research to help the researcher to analyze the pattern of the demand fluctuation and to be the primary data for forecasting. The second one is to collect the deliver and holding cost data for each raw materials. Holding costs and delivery costs are needed to establish the most optimal strategy of raw materials procurement based on the most optimal cost of procurement. Forecasting is conducted to determine the future demand of the product order request and the quantity of required raw materials. The best forecasting method is the one that has the lowest error value. The forecasting calculation is carried out for the next 12 months using the quadratic regression method. The result can be seen in the table on the right side.
This part of the research is to establish the bill of material structure with the purpose to recap and knowing all material needed and the total amount of raw material needed to make a single product. Before, we already have the forecasting calculation result. Henceforth, the estimation of required raw material for each material and each period in the following 12 months. In the following 12 periods can be obtained by multiplying the forecasting result with the total amount needed to make one single product. Safety stock calculation is conducted to provide extra stock to prevent stock out due to unexpected demand. The total amount of material for general purpose polystyrene is 2 tons and polypropylene is 1 ton.
Henceforth, load sizing calculation provides us with many methods that could give us the best result of the most optimal raw materials amount by considering the total of procurement costs. Here is the total procurement cost result from each method calculation. This slide contains the load sizing calculation with EOK until this total cost method. So this slide is contain the load sizing calculation with silver mill until Wagner-Witten algorithm method. MRP calculation prioritizes the quantity of raw materials, order schedule, and the total cost of procurement to optimize the production flow. Here's the comparison of all methods. Okay, so the best method that should be chosen is the method that has the lowest cost, which is silver mill method. Therefore, the total procurement cost can be reduced by 50.8% lower than without implementing MRP calculation.
Here are the furthest researches about the application of material requirement planning calculation. The material requirement planning calculation has a different best method of lot sizing method from each research to another. Each applied approach improved effective in reducing the total cost of procurement, hence the effectiveness and the efficiency of the company are increased.
So, from this research, we can conclude that the required quantity of safety stock is able to determine where the general purpose polystyrene is, or GPPS, is 2 tons, and polypropylene, or PP, is 1 ton of raw material. Every load sizing method used in this research can be determined the optimal quantity based on its method applied in the MRP timetable. As a result, the best load sizing method is silver mill method because it has the most optimal cost of procurement of raw materials with 50.8% of reduction. MRP calculation for raw materials procurement is highly recommended because it can help raw materials procurement to be more efficient and effective. The result has shown that MRP's flexibility to adapt to the issue scenarios that happen in the company by developing the most optimal approach to raw material procurement according to the problem. Despite its simplicity, MRP has a significant impact to contribute to our company to improve the production flow efficiency, particularly regarding the total cost of raw material procurement. This is the references that we use in this presentation. Okay, thank you so much for your interest and attention. We sincerely appreciate it that we have had this opportunity to present to you. Now we jump into the Q&A section. Is there any question that you want to ask?
Okay, thank you, Dennis and Jessica. Okay, before I ask this question, is there any question from the floor? No question? Okay. All right. So currently, the company use which method for the forecasting for the MRP?
So this current situation of the company is not implemented any method of procurement system. Yes. So they are only the forecasting only based on the past experience or the
Only
past
for
data.
past experience. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no engineer in the company. How big of the company?
I'm sorry, Miss.
How big of the company?
How big?
Uh-huh.
There are.
Is it the small and medium enterprise, or is it
small until medium enterprise because they have more than 100 employees there that work in there.
Okay. Okay, based on your study, okay, when you see the data, and then it seems like the data in January, in earlier, the forecast of the product would be little bit higher.
Yes.
So do you find any reason why it happened, and then how this forecast will affect your MRP planning?
Okay. For the reason why the data of January is higher than any other month because January is near to the celebration uh, of Chinese New Year and of and Eid Mubarak. So there are a lot of order uh, that happen in that period in January because it near the celebration of Eid Mubarak and Chinese New Year. That is the reason, and it's affect our MRP calculation as it affect. So from January until maybe March period, the MRP calculation shows that there are more need. I'm sorry, the company need to produce more product. So the material that required is also more higher than any other period.
Okay, Jessica, you want to help Dennis?
So because of the MRP show that from the 12-month periods, from the period from January till the March one is there's more about the orders that comes because it nears to the Eid Mubarak and the Chinese New Year. So this is the reason why we are doing at this period time.
Right.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Jessica, for the answer. Okay, so